I trusted you. How could you betray our family like this right in front of him?
The glass shattered against the marble floor, the sharp sound slicing through the mansion like a scream. Ji-Hoon's small body jerked in fear. His fingers tightened around the edge of the dining chair as he watched the shards scatter like broken ice. His mother's voice thundered next. "You pathetic excuse of a man." Madam Seo Yuna stood over the table, her designer heels planted like she owned the earth itself. Her eyes burned with fury as she glared at her husband. Kang Min-jae didn't move. He didn't even blink. He simply stood there, shoulders stiff, jaw clenched, absorbing the humiliation like he always did. Ji-Hoon's lips trembled. "Mom," he whispered, voice barely audible. "Please stop." Yuna snapped her head toward him, her expression sharp enough to cut. "Stay out of this." Ji-Hoon flinched as if struck. Min-jae finally spoke, his voice quiet, strained. "Yuna, it was just a glass." "Just a glass," she repeated, laughing bitterly. "Do you know what you are? You are just like that glass. Fragile. Worthless. Easy to break." Min-jae's hands curled at his sides. Ji-Hoon felt his chest tighten. His father had once been warm. Once. Ji-Hoon remembered faintly, like a dream, a time when his dad smiled more. But now his father was a shadow. Madam Yuna leaned closer, her voice dripping poison. "I married you because my father insisted. But every day, you remind me why I should have chosen better." Min-jae swallowed hard. "I stay for Ji-Hoon." Yuna's eyes narrowed. "You stay because you have nowhere else to go." The words hung in the air like smoke. Ji-Hoon couldn't take it anymore. He slid off the chair, rushing to his father, wrapping his arms around Min-jae's waist. "Dad, please." Min-jae's breath hitched. For a second, his hand hovered, then rested gently on his son's head. Yuna scoffed. "Look at you. Even your own son pities you." Ji-Hoon's voice cracked. "Why are you so mean to him?" The room froze. Yuna's face twisted. "What did you say?" Ji-Hoon trembled but didn't back down. "He doesn't deserve this." Yuna's hand lifted. Min-jae stepped forward instantly. "Don't." His voice wasn't loud, but it was firm. Yuna paused, eyes flashing with disbelief. "You dare stop me?" Min-jae stared at her, his chest rising and falling. "Not in front of him." Yuna's lips curled. "This is my house." "It's our house," Min-jae corrected softly. Yuna laughed, sharp and cold. "Our house? Min-jae, you don't own anything. I own this mansion. I own the staff. I own the cars. And I." Her gaze dropped to him. "I own you." Ji-Hoon's grip tightened around his father. Min-jae's eyes lowered. The silence was heavy. Then Yuna turned away with a dramatic flick of her hair. "Clean this mess," she ordered. Min-jae didn't move. A servant hurried forward nervously. Ji-Hoon watched his father's face, the quiet shame, the resignation. That night, Ji-Hoon lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. He couldn't understand. His mother was rich. Powerful. Everyone respected her. So why was she so cruel? He turned his head toward the door, listening. Through the walls, he heard muffled voices. His mother again. "You embarrass me." His father's tired reply. "I'm trying." "You're failing." Ji-Hoon squeezed his pillow. Tears slipped down his cheeks. He whispered into the darkness. "Dad, why does Mom hate you so much?" The next morning, the mansion felt colder than usual. The staff moved quietly, eyes lowered, as if the air itself carried fear. Madam Yuna sat at the breakfast table, scrolling through her phone, her jewelry sparkling under the chandelier. Min-jae stood nearby, silent. Ji-Hoon sat across from his mother, pushing his food around. No one spoke. Then the butler entered. "Madam, the new maid has arrived." Yuna didn't look up. "Send her in." The doors opened. And she walked in. She wasn't dressed in anything special. A simple maid uniform. No jewelry. No arrogance. But something about her presence made the room shift. Her skin was deep brown, smooth like polished earth. Her posture was calm, almost regal. Her eyes weren't afraid. She bowed politely. "My name is Nia. Thank you for hiring me." Yuna finally glanced up. Her gaze sharpened. "A foreigner?" "Yes, Yuna's lips pressed into a thin line. "You will follow my rules. You will not speak unless spoken to. You will not look at my husband. You will not interfere with my son. Do you understand?" Nia's voice remained steady. Yes, Ji-Hoon stared. Something about her felt different. Most maids avoided eye contact. Most maids looked nervous. But Nia. She looked like someone pretending to be small. Minute J glanced at her briefly, then away. Yuna waved her hand dismissively. Get to work. Nia bowed again. As she turned to leave, Ji-Hoon spoke without thinking. Are you really a maid? The room froze instantly. Yuna's head snapped toward her son. Ji-Hoon. Ji-Hoon shrank back. Nia paused, then turned, her expression soft. She crouched slightly, meeting his eyes. Yes, she said gently. For now. Ji-Hoon blinked. For now. Nia smiled faintly. Sometimes people choose different paths to learn something important. Ji-Hoon didn't understand, but her voice made him feel warm. Yuna's eyes narrowed suspiciously. Enough talking. Go. Nia stood and walked away. But Ji-Hoon kept watching her until she disappeared down the hall. Later that day, Ji-Hoon wandered into the kitchen, drawn by the smell of something comforting. He found Nia stirring a pot, humming softly. He hovered near the doorway. Nia glanced over. Hello again. Ji-Hoon stepped closer cautiously. What are you making? Soup, Nia replied. It's good when the weather feels cold inside. Ji-Hoon frowned. Cold inside? Nia tapped her chest gently. Here. Ji-Hoon's throat tightened. He whispered, it's always cold here. Nia's eyes softened. I know. Ji-Hoon stared at her. How do you know? Nia didn't answer right away. Instead, she scooped some soup into a small bowl and placed it in front of him. Eat. Ji-Hoon hesitated. My mom doesn't like me eating in the kitchen. Nia leaned closer, her voice calm but firm. Your mother is not here. And you are a child. Children deserve warmth. Ji-Hoon's lips trembled. No one had ever spoken like that. He picked up the spoon, tasting it. His eyes widened. It's really good. Nia smiled. I'm glad. For the first time in days, Ji-Hoon felt something other than fear. That evening, Minute J returned from a long day of meetings. He looked exhausted, his tie loosened, his shoulders heavy. He passed by the hallway and noticed something unusual. Laughter. Soft laughter. He stopped. In the sitting room, Ji-Hoon was sitting with Nia, showing her a drawing. And this is Dad, Ji-Hoon said excitedly, pointing at a stick figure. And this is me. And this. He hesitated, then pointed at another figure. This is you. Nia's smile was gentle. I look very tall. Ji-Hoon giggled. You are tall. Minute J's chest tightened. Ji-Hoon hadn't laughed like that in so long. Nia glanced up and noticed Minute J standing there. She stood quickly, bowing. Sir. Minute J cleared his throat. It's fine. Ji-Hoon jumped up. Dad. Look. Nia said my drawing is good. Minute J forced a smile. It is good. Ji-Hoon's eyes shone. Do you like it? Minute J swallowed hard. I love it. Ji-Hoon threw his arms around his father. Minute J froze, then slowly hugged him back. Nia watched quietly. Her gaze held something unreadable. Minute J finally looked at her. Thank you, he said softly. Nia tilted her head. For what? For making him smile. Nia's voice was barely above a whisper. He deserves to smile. Minute J's breath hitched. Something about her words struck deep. Yuna's voice suddenly cut through the air. What is this? All three turned. Madam Yuna stood at the entrance, her eyes sharp with suspicion. Why is the maid sitting with my son? Ji-Hoon's smile faded instantly. Nia bowed. He wanted to show me his drawing. Yuna stepped closer, heels clicking. My son does not need a maid as a friend. Ji-Hoon whispered, but Mom? Silence. Ji-Hoon flinched. Minute J's jaw clenched. Yuna's gaze shifted to Minute J. And you? Standing there like a fool. Minute J spoke quietly. He was happy. Yuna's eyes flashed. Happiness doesn't pay bills. Nia's voice came softly, surprising everyone. Neither does cruelty. The room froze. Yuna's head snapped toward her. What did you say? Nia held her gaze calmly. I apologize. I only meant, kindness costs nothing. Yuna's lips trembled with anger. You are here to clean, not to speak. Nia bowed. Yes, Yuna grabbed Ji-Hoon's wrist. Come. Ji-Hoon looked back at Nia, his eyes pleading. Nia gave him a small reassuring nod. Minute J watched, helpless. As Yuna dragged Ji-Hoon away, her voice echoed. Remember your place, Maid. Nia stood still. But inside, something was beginning to burn. And Minute J, watching her quiet strength, felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Middle finger. Nia stood alone in the sitting room long after Madam Yuna's heels disappeared down the hall. The mansion was quiet again, but it wasn't peaceful. It was the kind of silence that suffocated. Minute J lingered near the doorway, unsure whether to speak or leave. His eyes stayed on Nia, as if trying to understand her. You shouldn't have said that, he finally murmured. Nia turned slowly. Said what? Minute J's voice dropped. Kindness costs nothing. Nia's lips curved faintly. Was it wrong? Minute J exhaled, rubbing his forehead. In this house, kindness is dangerous. Nia studied him. That's why it's needed. Minute J's throat tightened. He wasn't used to someone speaking like that. Not in his world. Not under Yuna's roof. He forced a small, bitter laugh. You don't understand Madam Seo. Nia stepped closer, her tone calm. I understand pain. Minute J froze. Her words landed like a quiet storm. Before he could respond, a sharp voice rang out. Minute J. Both turned. Madam Yuna stood at the top of the staircase, arms crossed, her eyes blazing. Why are you still standing there? Come to my room. Now. Minute J stiffened instantly. Yes. He glanced at Nia one last time, something unspoken in his eyes, then walked away. Nia remained still, her face unreadable. But inside, she felt something twist. This house wasn't just rich. It was broken. That night, Ji-Hoon lay awake again. His door creaked softly. A figure entered. He sat up quickly, frightened. But it was Nia. She held a small tray. She whispered. I brought you something. Ji-Hoon blinked. My mom will be angry. Nia sat carefully at the edge of the bed. Your mother is asleep. Ji-Hoon's voice cracked. She's always angry. Nia's gaze softened. I know. Ji-Hoon looked down. Why does she hate Dad? Nia didn't answer immediately. She placed the tray on his lap. Warm milk and a small pastry. Eat. Ji-Hoon hesitated. Then whispered, do you think Dad is weak? Nia's eyes sharpened. No. Ji-Hoon frowned. But Mom says he's useless. Nia leaned closer. Listen to me, Ji-Hoon. Sometimes the strongest people are the ones who endure quietly, because they love someone too much to leave. Ji-Hoon's lips trembled. You mean, he stays because of me? Nia nodded slowly. Yes. Ji-Hoon's eyes filled with tears. I don't want him to suffer because of me. Nia's voice was gentle. You are not the cause. You are the reason he survives. Ji-Hoon swallowed hard, wiping his cheeks. Will you leave too? Nia froze. Something flickered in her expression. I don't know, she admitted softly. Ji-Hoon grabbed her sleeve desperately. Please don't. You make it warm here. Nia's chest tightened. She forced a smile. I'm here right now. Ji-Hoon nodded, clinging to that small comfort like it was life itself. The next morning, Madam Yuna's mood was darker than usual. She sat in the living room with her friends, wealthy women dressed in expensive coats, sipping tea like queens. They laughed loudly. So, Yuna, one of them smirked, I heard you hired a black maid. Yuna's lips curled. Yes. Foreign help is cheaper. And they know their place. The women giggled. One leaned forward. Is she pretty? Yuna's eyes flashed. She's a servant. But still, another woman teased. Men notice pretty servants. Yuna's grip tightened around her cup. My husband is not the type to notice anyone. The words sounded confident, but her voice held something else. Fear. At that moment, Nia entered quietly to refill tea. The women's eyes immediately turned to her. They stared openly, judging. One whispered, not quietly enough, exotic. Nia remained calm, placing the tray down. Yuna watched her closely. Too calm. Too composed. No servant was ever that composed. Yuna's friend smirked. Tell me, maid, where are you from? Nia answered politely. America, And what brings you here? Another asked. Nia paused briefly. To learn. The women laughed. To learn? As a maid. Nia's gaze remained steady. Yes. Yuna's eyes narrowed. What kind of person chooses servitude to learn? Nia's voice was soft but firm. The kind of person who wants to understand people without money blinding them. The room went still. The women exchanged looks. Yuna's smile vanished. That will be all, she snapped. Nia bowed and left. But the seed had been planted. Madam Yuna could feel it. This maid was not ordinary. That afternoon, Minute J sat alone in his study. Papers were scattered across the desk. Business contracts, schedules, endless obligations. He stared at them blankly. The door creaked. Nia entered quietly with a cup of tea. He looked up sharply. You don't have to bring that. Nia placed it down gently. You haven't eaten all day. Minute J's lips pressed together. That's not your concern. Nia's voice was calm. It is if you collapse. Minute J scoffed. Why do you care? Nia hesitated. Then spoke honestly. Because no one else seems to. The words hit harder than she intended. Minute J's breath caught. Silence stretched between them. Finally, he spoke, voice low. You should stop caring. It will only bring you trouble. Nia's gaze softened. I've had enough trouble in my life. I'm not afraid of yours. Minute J stared at her, confused. Who are you? Nia smiled faintly. Just a maid. Minute J didn't believe it. He leaned back, exhausted. I wasn't always like this, he murmured suddenly. Nia tilted her head. Like what? Broken. His voice cracked. I used to dream. I used to write stories. I used to believe my life would mean something. Nia's eyes stayed on him. And what happened? Minute J laughed bitterly. I married Madam Seo. Nia didn't react with pity. She reacted with understanding. She doesn't love you. Minute J stiffened. It's not about love. It's about power. Nia whispered, power without love is just cruelty. Minute J's hands trembled slightly. You speak as if you know. Nia's gaze flickered. I do. Minute J leaned forward, voice quieter. Why would someone like you come here? Into this house? Nia's expression tightened for a moment. Then she said softly, because I needed to see what was real. Minute J stared. What do you mean? Nia didn't answer. Instead, she turned to leave. But before she could, Minute J spoke again. Thank you. Nia paused. For what? For reminding me. I'm still human. Her chest tightened. She nodded once and walked out. Upstairs, Madam Yuna watched from the balcony, her nails digging into her palm. Her jealousy was no longer a whisper. It was a storm. That evening, Yuna confronted Minute J in their bedroom. He had just entered when she slammed the door. Tell me, she hissed, what is going on between you and that maid? Minute J blinked, stunned. What? Yuna stepped closer. I see the way she looks at you. I see the way Ji-Hoon clings to her. Are you so desperate that you'd embarrass me with a servant? Minute J's voice was controlled. She's done nothing wrong. Yuna's eyes widened. Nothing wrong? She spoke back to me. In front of my friends. She spoke truth, Minute J said quietly. The air went deadly still. Yuna's face twisted. You're defending her. Minute J exhaled. I'm defending basic decency. Yuna laughed, sharp. Decency? You want decency? Then act like a husband, not a victim. Minute J's voice cracked. I am a victim. Yuna froze. Minute J's eyes filled with years of pain. I have been trapped in this marriage, in this house, in your shadow. And the only reason I stayed, is Ji-Hoon. Yuna's lips trembled. You ungrateful. I am not ungrateful, Minute J interrupted, louder now. I am suffocating. Yuna's hand lifted. Minute J didn't flinch. He simply stared. Yuna's hand dropped slowly, her breathing heavy. Her voice lowered dangerously. You will get rid of her. Minute J's jaw clenched. No. Yuna's eyes went wild. Then I will. The next day, Nia was cleaning the hallway when Ji-Hoon ran toward her, breathless. Nia. She turned quickly. What's wrong? Ji-Hoon's eyes were wide with fear. My mom, she's angry. She said she's going to send you away. Nia froze. Ji-Hoon grabbed her hand tightly. Please don't go. Nia knelt, holding his shoulders. Ji-Hoon. I don't want it to be cold again, he whispered, tears spilling. I don't want Dad to be alone again. Nia's throat tightened painfully. She forced a gentle smile. I'm not leaving today. Ji-Hoon sobbed. But she will make you. Nia's eyes darkened with quiet resolve. Then we will face it. Ji-Hoon clung to her. Upstairs, Madam Seo stood watching them, her face hardening. Her voice was a whisper to herself. I will destroy her. And Nia, standing in the middle of that mansion, realized something terrifying. Her little experiment was becoming real. Middle finger. The tension in the mansion grew thicker with every passing hour. Madam Seo no longer pretended. Her eyes followed Nia everywhere. At breakfast. In the hallway. Even when Ji-Hoon laughed softly in the kitchen. It was like watching a candle in a dark room. And Seo hated that light. 2 days later, the mansion was preparing for an extravagant dinner party. A gathering of Korea's elite. Business partners. Socialites. Families who wore wealth like armor. Minute Jae stood in front of the mirror, adjusting his tie with trembling hands. Ji-Hoon sat on the bed, watching quietly. Dad, do we have to go downstairs? Minute Jae's throat tightened. Yes, he murmured. Your mother expects it. Ji-Hoon hesitated. She's going to be angry again. Minute Jae crouched in front of him, forcing a smile. Just stay close to me. Ji-Hoon nodded slowly. Downstairs, Nia moved through the kitchen with calm precision, carrying trays, arranging dishes. The staff whispered nervously. This is going to be bad, one maid muttered. Madam Seo has been in a terrible mood, another replied. Nia remained silent, but she could feel it. Something was coming. That evening, the guests arrived in waves of expensive perfume and laughter. Madam Seo stood at the center, radiant in a designer gown, her smile sharp and practiced. This house is stunning as always, one woman gushed. Seo tilted her chin. Of course. Excellence is the minimum. Minute Jae stood beside her like an accessory. Ji-Hoon stayed close, small fingers clutching his father's sleeve. Then Soo's eyes flickered toward the entrance. Nia entered with a tray of champagne glasses. The room shifted. The guests noticed her immediately. Whispers spread. A black maid. How unusual. She's quite beautiful. Soo's smile tightened. She stepped forward, voice loud enough for everyone. Maid, be careful. These glasses cost more than your entire life. The room chuckled. Ji-Hoon's face flushed with embarrassment. Nia bowed slightly. Yes, She moved carefully, serving drinks. But as she passed one guest, the man smirked. Where did you find her, Madam Seo? Imported. Laughter erupted. Seo smiled coldly. Something like that. Minute Jae's jaw clenched. Ji-Hoon whispered, Dad, stop them. Minute Jae swallowed hard, trapped. Nia kept her expression neutral, but her hands tightened around the tray. Seo watched closely. Then she raised her voice again. Nia, isn't it? Nia paused. Yes, Soo's eyes gleamed with cruelty. Come here. The entire room quieted, sensing entertainment. Nia stepped forward slowly. Seo circled her like a predator. Tell everyone, Seo said sweetly, why did you become a maid? Nia's gaze remained calm. To work, Seo laughed. Oh, don't be boring. Surely there's a story. Were you poor? Desperate? Running away from something? The guests leaned in. Nia's voice was steady. I wanted to learn what life feels like without privilege. The room murmured. Seo's smile sharpened. How ridiculous. She turned to the guests dramatically. Imagine choosing servitude when you could choose luxury. Some people don't know their place. The guests laughed again. Ji-Hoon's fists clenched. He suddenly stepped forward. Stop talking about her like that. The room froze. All eyes snapped to the little boy. Soo's face darkened instantly. Ji-Hoon. Ji-Hoon's voice trembled but rose. She's nicer than all of you. Gasps echoed. A woman whispered, how embarrassing. Soo's lips trembled with rage. You will apologize. Right now. Ji-Hoon shook his head, tears in his eyes. No. You're always hurting Dad, and now you're hurting her. The room was deadly silent. Minute Jae's breath caught. Soo's hand lifted. Time slowed. Ji-Hoon's eyes widened. Then. Slap. The sound cracked through the air like a gunshot. Ji-Hoon stumbled back, his cheek instantly red. The guests gasped loudly. Minute Jae froze for half a second. Then something inside him snapped. Don't touch my son. His voice exploded, louder than anyone had ever heard. The room went still. Seo turned slowly, shocked. Minute J stepped forward, shaking with fury. You have humiliated me for years, he said, voice trembling, but you will not lay your hands on him. Yuna's eyes widened. You dare raise your voice at me? Minute J's chest heaved. I dare protect my child. Ji-Hoon sobbed quietly behind him. Nia stood frozen, her heart pounding. Yuna's face twisted with humiliation. Her voice dropped low. You're defending them. Minute J's voice cracked. I'm defending humanity. The guests shifted uncomfortably. Yuna's smile returned, cold and dangerous. She turned to them. Forgive this unpleasant scene. My husband forgets himself sometimes. Then she looked at Nia. And you caused this. Nia's eyes sharpened. I did nothing but exist. Yuna stepped closer, her voice like venom. Exactly. And that is your mistake. The dinner continued awkwardly, but the damage was done. Yuna's pride had been wounded in front of everyone. And she would not forgive it. Later that night, after the guests left, Yuna stormed through the mansion like fire. She found Nia in the staff hallway. You, she hissed. Nia turned calmly. Yes, Yuna's eyes burned. Pack your things. Nia's chest tightened. Oh. You're fired, Yuna spat. Get out of my house tonight. Nia held her gaze. Because your son defended me? Yuna laughed bitterly. Because you dared make my family look at you like you matter. Nia's voice was quiet. I do matter. Yuna's face contorted. To me, you are nothing. Nia's eyes darkened. And yet, you're terrified of me. Yuna froze. For a split second, fear flashed in her eyes. Then rage returned. Leave. Nia inhaled slowly. Yes, She walked away. But her steps felt heavy. Not because she was losing a job. Because she was leaving something real. Upstairs, Ji-Hoon was curled in bed, cheeks still sore, tears staining his pillow. The door opened softly. Nia, he whispered. She stepped inside. Ji-Hoon sat up instantly, eyes wide. You're leaving. Nia's throat tightened. He knew. Ji-Hoon scrambled off the bed, running to her, gripping her uniform. No. Please. His voice broke. Please don't go, she'll make everything cold again. Nia knelt, holding his small face gently. Ji-Hoon. He sobbed harder. You promised you were here. Nia's eyes shimmered with tears. I am here now. But tomorrow you won't be. Ji-Hoon clung to her desperately. I don't want Dad to be alone again. I don't want to be alone. Nia's chest cracked open. She hugged him tightly. You won't be alone, she whispered. Ji-Hoon pulled back, shaking his head. Yes we will. She always wins. Nia closed her eyes. Sometimes, leaving was the only way truth arrived. Footsteps approached. Minute J appeared in the doorway, face pale. Nia. She stood slowly. Minute J's voice trembled. She's really making you leave. Nia nodded. Minute J's fists clenched. I'm sorry. Nia's eyes softened. It's not your fault. Minute J's voice cracked. I should have stopped her. Nia stepped closer. You did stop her tonight. Minute J swallowed hard. It wasn't enough. Nia whispered, it was the first time. Silence stretched between them, heavy with emotion. Ji-Hoon clutched Nia's hand. Dad, don't let her go. Minute J's breath hitched. He looked at his son. Then at Nia. Then down at the floor. His voice was barely audible. I don't know how. Nia's eyes filled. You will find your way. Minute J's lips trembled. Who are you? The question came again, desperate. Nia froze. Her secret pressed against her ribs like a storm. She forced a small smile. Someone who almost forgot what love feels like. Minute J stared, heart breaking. Ji-Hoon sobbed. Nia gently pulled her hand away. I have to go. Ji-Hoon screamed, no. He wrapped his arms around her waist. Minute J stepped forward, torn. Nia, please. Nia whispered, voice shaking. If I stay, she will destroy me. And she will destroy you for loving me. Minute J's eyes widened. I don't care. Nia shook her head. You should. She looked down at Ji-Hoon, brushing his hair back. You are brave, she whispered. Ji-Hoon cried, promise you'll come back. Nia's tears finally fell. She couldn't promise. She stood, stepping back. Then she turned. And walked out. Ji-Hoon collapsed onto the floor, sobbing. Minute J stood frozen, watching her disappear down the hallway. The mansion swallowed her footsteps. Outside, the night air was sharp. Nia walked through the gates alone. No luggage. No escort. Just silence. But behind her, a little boy's cries echoed through the mansion like a wound that would not close. Middle finger. The mansion felt different the moment Nia was gone. It wasn't louder. It wasn't quieter. It was emptier. The warmth she carried, the softness she brought into cold hallways, vanished overnight. Ji-Hoon stopped talking as much. He stopped laughing. He ate in silence. Minute J moved through the house like a ghost, his eyes dull, his chest heavy with regret. Madam Yuna, however, walked with satisfaction. As if she had won. As if removing one maid had restored her control. 2 days passed. Then 3. And on the 4th night, Ji-Hoon sat by the window, staring at the gates. Minute J entered quietly. Ji-Hoon, you should sleep. Ji-Hoon didn't turn. His voice was small. Dad, is she really not coming back? Minute J's throat tightened. I don't know. Ji-Hoon's lips trembled. You didn't even try to stop her. Minute J froze. Ji-Hoon turned slowly, tears shining. Why didn't you fight for her? Minute J's voice cracked. She was fired. Your mother. Ji-Hoon interrupted, trembling. She was kind. She was the only one who made this house feel like home. Minute J's chest heaved. Ji-Hoon stood up suddenly, his small fists clenched. Then the words came out, broken and raw, the words that would haunt Minute J forever. Dad. His voice shattered. Why let her go? Minute J felt like he'd been stabbed. He stumbled back, eyes filling instantly. Ji-Hoon sobbed harder. Why did you let her leave forever? She didn't deserve it, we didn't deserve it. Minute J dropped to his knees in front of his son. His hands trembled as he held Ji-Hoon's face. I thought, he whispered, choking, I thought I didn't deserve happiness. Ji-Hoon cried. But she made you smile. Minute J's tears fell. She made me remember I was alive. Ji-Hoon clung to him. Then go find her. Minute J froze. The words rang like thunder. Go find her. 4 years, Minute J had been a man who endured. A man who survived. But now, his son's heartbreak was forcing him to wake up. That night, Minute J stood outside Madam Yuna's bedroom door. He knocked once. Her cold voice answered. What? Minute J entered slowly. Yuna sat at her vanity, brushing her hair like nothing had happened. Minute J's voice was quiet but firm. Where is she? Yuna's hand paused. Who? Nia. Yuna smirked. She's gone. Like she should be. Minute J stepped closer. You didn't just fire a maid. Yuna rolled her eyes. I fired a problem. Minute J's jaw clenched. You fired the only person who treated our son with kindness. Yuna's gaze sharpened. Our son doesn't need kindness from servants. Minute J's voice rose. He needs kindness from his mother. Yuna stood abruptly. Don't you dare speak to me like that. Minute J's hands shook. For once, I will. Yuna laughed bitterly. You're still the same weak man. Minute J stared at her, pain and clarity mixing. No. His voice was low. I was weak because I stayed silent. Yuna's smile faded slightly. Minute J continued, voice trembling with emotion. I watched you destroy me. I told myself it was for Ji-Hoon. But now, Ji-Hoon is being destroyed too. Yuna's eyes flashed. You will not blame me for your failures. Minute J's gaze hardened. I blame you for your cruelty. The air went deadly still. Yuna whispered, dangerous. If you leave this house, you will have nothing. Minute J's lips trembled. Then nothing will finally be mine. And he turned. And walked out. Madam Yuna stood frozen, her pride cracking for the first time. The next evening, Seoul's most luxurious charity gala lit up the city. Cameras flashed. The richest families arrived in designer gowns and tailored suits. Madam Yuna entered with her usual arrogance, her chin lifted high. She wanted distraction. She wanted to remind herself she was still powerful. Her friends surrounded her. You seem tense, Yuna, one woman said. Yuna forced a smile. Just tired. Then the announcer's voice echoed through the grand hall. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, we are honored to welcome a special guest. The crowd quieted. The youngest billionaire in global hospitality. Madam Yuna's eyes flickered with mild interest. The owner of Adeyemi International Resorts. Whispers spread instantly. Who? She's here? No way. Madam Yuna frowned. Then the announcer continued. Please welcome. A pause. Then. Ms. Nia Adeyemi Carter. The room erupted. Applause thundered. Madam Yuna's blood turned to ice. Because walking onto the stage was Nia. But not the Nia in a maid uniform. This Nia wore a breathtaking black gown, elegant and powerful. Her hair styled perfectly. Her posture regal. She looked like wealth itself. Like royalty. Madam Yuna's lips parted. No. Her friend gasped. That's your maid. Yuna's knees nearly buckled. Nia stepped to the microphone, calm and radiant. Good evening, she said smoothly. Thank you for having me. The crowd was captivated. Madam Yuna's hands trembled. This is impossible. Nia's eyes scanned the audience slowly. Then. They landed on Madam Yuna. A faint smile touched her lips. Like a quiet storm. After the speech, guests swarmed Nia, praising her, begging for introductions. Madam Yuna pushed through them, fury burning. She reached Nia, voice shaking. You. Nia turned calmly. Madam Seo. Yuna hissed. You lied. You tricked us. Nia tilted her head slightly. I never lied. You pretended to be a servant. Nia's gaze sharpened. I chose to live simply. Yuna's face contorted. Why? Nia's voice was soft, deadly. To see who people really are when money is not involved. Yuna's breathing grew heavy. And what did you see? Nia leaned closer, her eyes piercing. I saw cruelty dressed in diamonds. Yuna flinched as if struck. You humiliated me. Nia's smile was calm. No, Madam Seo. Her voice lowered. You humiliated yourself. At that moment, a familiar voice cut through. Nia. Both women turned. Minute J stood there, breathless, eyes wide with disbelief. He looked at her like he was seeing the sun after years of darkness. Nia, he whispered again. You were. Nia's gaze softened instantly. A billionaire, she finished quietly. Minute J's voice cracked. Why would you become a maid? Nia's eyes shimmered. Because I was tired of fake love. I wanted something real. Minute J swallowed hard. And did you find it? Nia looked away briefly. I found a little boy who reminded me warmth exists. Minute J's chest tightened. And I found a man who forgot his own worth. Minute J's eyes filled. Yuna snapped angrily. This is ridiculous. He is my husband. Minute J turned toward her slowly. His voice was calm. No. Yuna froze. Minute J continued, each word shaking the room. I was your possession. Not your husband. Yuna's face twisted. You will regret leaving me. Minute J's eyes hardened. I regret staying. Silence fell. Minute J stepped forward. Ji-Hoon misses her, he said softly to Nia. Nia's breath caught. Ji-Hoon. Minute J nodded. He asked me why I let you go. Nia's eyes filled instantly. Minute J's voice broke. I didn't have an answer. But now I do. He looked at her, trembling. I let you go because I was afraid. Nia whispered. And now? Minute J inhaled shakily. Now I'm not. The next day, Ji-Hoon sat in the same window spot, staring at the gates. The mansion was still cold. Then. A car pulled up. Ji-Hoon froze. The gates opened. A familiar figure stepped out. Ji-Hoon's breath stopped. Nia? His voice was barely a whisper. Nia looked up. Their eyes met. Ji-Hoon screamed. Nia! He ran. His small feet pounded across the marble floor as he burst outside. Nia knelt just in time. Ji-Hoon crashed into her arms, sobbing uncontrollably. You came back, you came back. Nia held him tightly, tears streaming. I'm here. Ji-Hoon pulled back, crying harder. I thought you left forever. Nia cupped his face. I left because I had to, but I came back because you mattered. Ji-Hoon whispered the words again, voice breaking. Why did Dad let you go? Nia looked up. Minute J stood behind them, eyes red. His voice was shaking. I won't let her go again. Ji-Hoon looked between them. Then hugged them both. Inside the mansion, Madam Yuna watched from the balcony, her face pale. For the first time, she looked small. She had lost. Not because Nia was richer, but because love was stronger than pride. And as Ji-Hoon clung to the woman who brought warmth back into his life, the narrator's voice would close softly. Sometimes, the richest people aren't the ones with money, but the ones who choose love over power. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Would you have forgiven Madam Seo, or walked away forever? Because your support keeps stories like this alive.